necessarily to kind of cooperate with other teams, especially if they're not used to working in 3D modeling, making it harder for them to kind of conceptualize your designs. It's also hard to convey size and scale in this way because you're just taking screenshots, it's just little images. It can be hard to get a real feel for the size of what you're actually trying to build is. Along with that, it's a pretty tedious process for distributing and reviewing that information, and it can be pretty time consuming as well, which isn't necessarily something you want when you're on a scheduled deadline to try to get something done. And you end up with a reliance on your CAD users to retrieve models and conduct that review process, which means that that's time that if they are someone who is an active designer, a heavy designer, taking away from their time working on those designs, improving your products, and instead they're spending time taking screenshots and things like that to provide out to other people to be able to see. So the solution to this can be found with Creo's AR design sharing, which allows you to collaborate more visually with both internal teams or even external teams so that people can really get a feel for what it is that you're making. So some capabilities that help to back this up as a solution. First off, it is built right into Creo, so you don't have to leave Creo or anything like that. And it allows you to rapidly and easily create these AR experiences as well as publish them all from within Creo. And you can also manage your experiences there as well and distribute them out to different people so that you can more effectively communicate and collaborate with other people. One note to point out is that you would need at least Creo 4.0 M10 or later to be able to use these different functionalities. So I'll go ahead and bring up a demonstration here of how that works. So we'll be working with our snowmobile for today's demonstration, and this is a really pretty simple, straightforward process, which is very nice. So to start off, you come into the tools and choose to add a spatial target. Whenever you add that spatial target, it's just going to place it down around the object. You can choose if you want a standard or a custom plane. So if you have some custom planes that you built in for your assembly, you can use those if you want. If not, you have options for some standard ones. So what matters here for the spatial target and where you're placing it is essentially you're saying whenever I tap on my screen, this is where I want it to display. So we want it to display from the bottom up for this case, if you wanted to display from the top down, things like that nature. So it just depends, how you want to show that. So in our case here, it's probably going to look best from the bottom. So we'll leave it there. And then we can determine how close we want it to be to the object. So if we want it to, hover a little bit higher off of that spatial target, or if you want it to sit really close to it. Once you have that set up, you've got basically the basics down and you're ready to publish the model. It's going to prompt us for our username and password here for that's associated to our server for the AR experiences. And once you do that, it's going to give you some options around what you want for the publish. So what you want the name to be, what view quality you want it to be. And so for the view quality, obviously, depending on what you're doing, depends on what you're going to want. The high quality is going to show the most detail and look the nicest, but if it's an extremely heavy assembly, it might take a little bit longer to load, which is fine, but just some options there to think about if you're just going into a first round review and you don't necessarily need super high detail. You can always choose to do a lower viewable quality and it'll load a little bit faster for you. You can also choose where you want to publish that to. In our case, we'll be publishing it to our server, and choose your target, which we've already set up, and it'll go ahead and alert you that that has been successful then. To manage your models, all you have to do is come up and click Manage Models. With Creo, if you do have that Creo 4 M10 or later, you can actually publish 5 experiences for free. So all Creo base comes with this functionality at past 4.0 M10 or later. And as you publish these, if you publish more than 5, it will replace the oldest one. So it would replace your first model with a new one, the new one that you've created. And the experiences stay up for, I believe, 6 months. So after 6 months, it will automatically take that experience down. You could always republish it, do it again. That's not a problem. But just some of the limiting capabilities with the base built-in version. With the extended versions, you have more that you can publish out, and there's not a necessary deadline on when those would become unpublished. So once we have these here, you can also choose to delete them. So if you did have, say, 5 and you wanted to make a new one, but you didn't want it to replace your first one, you could delete another one and choose to replace that instead. And you also have some options here with how you want to share these out. So you can either add viewers, or you can just choose to directly share. With the adding viewers, you can choose to have it be password protected. So if you want to make sure that someone has to sign in to be able to view that, you can do that as well. And then it'll just send that off in an email, just like this. And you would then download the Creo View app from the App Store. It's free. It works on Apple, Android, I believe Microsoft, all the major phone companies out there, and all the major stores out there for apps. And then you would launch that. So I'll go ahead and actually do that here. Share my iPad screen here. So if I come back here and search inside of my mailbox. I could search for the email if I wanted to. In my case, I already actually have it up, so I'll just go ahead and bring it up. But it would come to you in an email. You would tap the link as we saw in the video, and it's going to load you into an experience like this. So you can see this little green square inside of our snowmobile, and that is showing where we want to tap to place it. And then once you do so, it'll drop it there into the space for you. You have a few different hand commands here that we can choose. So you can choose to zoom in and out, you can rotate around, or you can translate the AR experience. And if you want to replace it, so you don't like where it's at, you can just choose to shake it, and it can break where the locking mechanism is, and you can replace that in a different spot instead. So if I wanted to, I could move it around. I could zoom in and out on different parts here, and I can even go inside of it. So it doesn't matter that we're looking inside. I can come inside of here, actually look at some of the tools down here around inside of the motor and the front here. So you have a lot of functionality there with being able to do different views and be able to look at that object in different ways. If you want to rotate around it, look at something on the back side instead, you can move that iPad or whatever it is that you're using to view in closer and look at whatever it is that you want. So you get a little bit more of an interactive, review process. You can scale it up to see what it might look like at real size. So if at real size in this room, I wanted to place it there and see how that would look, so you can get a feel for how much space that would actually take up in the area. You can do that as well. So, just a little bit faster way of being able to do that. So go ahead and close off here with a few PowerPoint slides as well. So some value that this really does bring to teams is it allows you to enhance your customer experience. If you are working with a customer, they can actually see what that might look like in the exact spot, and be able to place that spatially wherever they want to put it in real life, and see how that would look before they even get to the finalized product. This also means that you can have a more effective design sharing and visualization for teams that don't have, an AR or a CAD tool. It can be hard sometimes for them to visualize things in 3D based on how you do review processes. But with this, it's a simple app that everyone can download for free. They can view that experience, see that in 3D space, rotate around it, look inside of it, get a real feel for what's going on, allowing them to be more engaged in that process and be able to give feedback better. This also can help to protect your intellectual property because you're not having to send the actual CAD model, you're just sending the AR experience, which strips away back some of the metadata and just keeps the geometry there so that you don't have to worry about any of that being taken. Along with that, improving those design process reviews can help to reduce your time to market, improve some of your development costs and reduce those down, and increase your quality and innovation by being able to get more interactive with some of those other teams and actually get some real feedback from them earlier on in the design process and move forward with those ideas. So that covers at a high level some of the Creo AR design share capabilities and what that's all about so that you can really utilize AR fast and easy with your companies and be able to make that part of your design process.
Very good. Thank you again, Cody. That was great.
Absolutely.
I actually have a question. What is the app that you were actually talking about? What's like the name of it, or what's
Oh,
it?
yeah. So it is called the Vuforia View app. Uh, so it's Vuforia and then space VIEW.
And is that app actually free just for the viewer, or?
Yeah, so the Vuforia View app is free. If you go into the App Store, you should be able to search it up and download that. And so with some of our other AR solutions, such as Vuforia Studio, which gets further into, more advanced AR creation and stuff, it's the same app that you would use to view those type of experiences as well. So that app covers both the Creo AR that we create, and even if you get further into more advanced augmented reality, that's what we use to view that as well.
Okay, so that's the whole view for a like engine suite is basically creating those experiences and then sharing them and viewing them.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for attending. If you want to view this at another time, it will be available on our website shortly, and along with further information on Creo AR Design Share and other extensions, as well as the Vuforia View app and information on that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at our website, tristar.com. And have a great Thursday, everyone. Thank you again, Cody.
Yeah, thanks for your time, everyone. Have a great day.